Okay, so next we want to talk about what is computer science. So, is it just the study of computers, or is there something else? So it's not the study of computers. Computers are to computer science what telescopes are to astronomy. So in astronomy, we use telescopes, but we're studying something else. And in computer science, we use computers, but we're studying something else. However, in programming, uh, we're not really studying something else, we're doing something else. So the question is, in computer science, however, what processes can be described, or what can be computed? What kinds of things can be computed? So that's a kind of fundamental question in computer science, not necessarily in programming, but in what's called computer science. So if we're wondering what can be computed, one way to find out whether something can be computed is actually to try and compute it. That is, actually solve or find a solution. And this is done by developing an algorithm, which is just a step-by-step process for achieving the desired result. But of course, this only tells you what can be computed, not what can't be computed, because you can't, just because you can't find the solution doesn't mean that there isn't one. So you can't prove that something can't be computed by not being able to find a solution. But you can prove that it can be computed if you can find a solution. Okay, the next thing is analysis is the process of examining algorithms and problems mathematically. And some seemingly simple problems are not solvable by any algorithm, and these are called unsolvable. And then another category of problems are ones that are what we call intractable. Doesn't mean that they're unsolvable, but they would take too long or take too much memory to be of practical value. So we have unsolvable and we have intractable problems. Okay, the next thing is experimentation. Some problems are too complex for analysis, so what we do is we implement a system and then study its behavior. Okay, let's stop here and come to hardware basics next. So a computer is composed of hardware and software. What do we mean by hardware? So one part of the hardware is called the central processing unit, or the CPU. The central processing unit is the brain of the computer. Well, brain means the sort of calculating part of the computer. Our brains also don't just do calculations, but they also keep information in our, so to speak, in storage, but we don't, that's not the CPU. So the CPU carries out all the basic operations on the data. So for example, arithmetic operations like plus, minus, multiplication, division, or testing to see if two numbers are equal, or two variables are equal, or two values are equal. Memory stores programs and data. So one thing is that CPUs can only access information stored in the main memory, and that's called the RAM. And when you buy a computer, you know that you often are worried about how much RAM you have. That's one type of memory. So main memory is fast but volatile. That means when you unplug your computer, whatever is in the main memory disappears. Now there's a new kind of, well, okay, let's keep going. Secondary memory provides more permanent storage, a hard drive or a DVD. However, you know probably that there's a new kind of hard drive called an SSD, which is also basically as fast as RAM, but it's much bigger, and it doesn't lose the information when the computer is unplugged. So it basically acts like a hard drive, and it's called a hard drive, SSD hard drive, but it's as fast as RAM. And then furthermore, we have other parts of hardware, input devices. So that's like the keyboard, the mouse, maybe you have a microphone. We have output devices, so we have speakers, we have monitor, printer, those are called output devices. Okay, so now we have something called the fetch and execute cycle. So what that means is an instruction is retrieved from memory, so we have something in the memory, some instruction. We decode the instruction to see what it means. We carry out the appropriate action. Then another instruction is fetched, decoded, and executed, and so on. Okay, so let's stop this video and come next to programming languages.